In the music industry, there used to be haves and have-nots. Haves were bands like the Rolling Stones. They had a major label deal, they had access to a bunch of money, so they could hire people like Glyn Johns, a big-time producer, to make a big, good-sounding record in a nice studio. And then, if you needed to bring in session musicians, you could hire them. That's expensive, etc., etc., etc. And then the major label gives you distribution, and so the record can be in stores, because otherwise how people buy it. And they also press those records to put them in the stores. And all these things take millions and millions of dollars. You need access to an international network. You need a booking agent. And all these things have to happen. And now, there's a middle ground between that and it used to be that you struggled, you tried to get a major label deal, and that was it. You were playing in bars otherwise, and you were scraping to try to make some demos so that you could get a record deal. That was all there was. And in the middle now, there stands this place where you can make records very inexpensively. You can make a very strong sounding recording in your bedroom, and so there's that. And then you can put your music on these social media platforms, and you can promote it via Facebook and Twitter and be on YouTube and things. And so a lot of people don't tour at all. Lots of people that are ostensibly the popular musicians don't even go on the road. So it's interesting. You hear about people who have blown up on the internet and then get major label deals and have never played a show or played 3 shows. There's a bunch of kind of artists that whose names are known now who are like that. They played in their bedrooms, they recorded some songs, and now because people got to know them online, they were all of a sudden they were, let's push this and let's promote this music. I think that's that's kind of an interesting function of the times. So my advice to people is, there's all this stuff. There's the possibility of you can use TuneCore or a company like that. That's who I use, TuneCore, to put your music out and get it on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify and all that stuff. And you can make videos that look great in your room and put that on YouTube, and you can do all this stuff and record on your own and not spend a lot of money and be self-contained. However, I think a great mistake that a lot of people are making, and I think this is kind of where a lot of the struggle is that just because you can do something does not mean that you should. And so I think a lot of people are kind of missing a very important period at the beginning of when you want to be an artist, of learning to be an artist, learning to do all the things that are required to be a musician, like playing their instruments and singing and writing songs that are good, stuff like that. Really, it seems silly, but the central focus has to be on those things, performing, being a real musician. And then I think if you learn to do all of those things, and you learn to write songs that are good, and you're creating something that you feel like the world needs, and it is of some value, then make a record and put it out. I think a lot of people are like, well, how do I get people to notice me? Well, do something good. Start by doing something good. I don't know, I think, maybe that seems like a little obvious or a little flippant, but it's real. I think the focus has to be on that first and foremost. How do I create something good? And, so learn to write songs and really focus on it and spend time, and don't think the first song that you write is going to be good. It isn't. Unless you're Bob Dylan, you're not going to write good songs for a while. It takes time. It's a process. I spent years writing really bad songs. And even now, songwriting is my trade. And so most of the time, the work that I do, adequate to not so good. And then the idea is I pick the best stuff that I do and put that out. But I'm constantly writing, and I'm constantly working and trying to better myself, hoping that I can continue to improve and do something better. And I think that is kind of lost in the instant gratification kind of culture that surrounds music now, where you can, buy Logic for your computer for $200 and get an interface, inexpensively, and get a cheap mic inexpensively, and learn to do all this stuff. It's pretty easy, and then make recordings on your own and put it out. And a month later, you have all this stuff put together. You don't even know how to play. You don't even need to know how to play instruments to make music. anymore, which is interesting. And I mean, it opens up the world for a lot of creative people, obviously. Kanye West doesn't really play instruments in kind of a, the classical sense of it, I guess. And he's, obviously he's making music as a career and he's very talented. But I think it's important to focus on, those elements. Like, he's a very gifted producer. I would say that's his instrument, is that he creates tracks. And then, I don't know, a lot of people kind of lose that, and so my piece of advice, the short end of that the short answer at the end of my very long answer to your very short question is do something good. First and foremost, make sure that you're doing something good and really work on your craft, because otherwise it's a moot point. Like, you don't need to be promoting your music if you're not doing a good job. So work on that first.
Okay.
My video for Atlanta is right here, and my video for 1 Grain of Sand is right here. So check out Atlanta and 1 Grain of Sand. Thank you. I'm Ron Pope, and I want you to check out ImUnsigned.com.